Hi there everyone. It's been a while since I posted a video, but I was waiting for a shipment from BL and I wanted to just take a quick look at some of these vintage playables from the newer sets. So one of the things that I've started ordering what I call a vintage starter kit as a gift for friends who are into Magic but have not really explored this format. And so looking at vintage staples, Power 9, and of course Mishra's Workshop and the Bazaar of Baghdad. So what do we have here? So the middle row that you see here are the Cardmire Beta P9. This is, I believe, a mixed for Mishra's Workshop, and this is a version 2.0 Bazaar of Baghdad. Most notable is this most recent printing of Mox Opal, which I believe is from the mixed 4.0 as well, or the modern 4.0. It's hard to tell with BL which version you are getting, but it is the newest, most recent one, and we'll talk about it in a second. So these on the top and these three on the bottom are all from the new Mixed 5 set, which is not officially available on any of BL's lists, but he will ship you the 5.0 cards if you ask for them. So this is up here, the 5.0 Moxen and Lotus set, and this is the 5.0 Blue Power. So let's start by talking about these. The Blue Power is one of the hardest ones to replicate, it seems. The overall appearance of these is a little bit more like what you might expect from website guys. It's dark, it's very saturated. The cards themselves don't look bad, but these gray colorless text symbols are just a little bit too standoutish. The other thing is, so you see a perfect centering of the interior box on the beta card. It's very unusual. Most times you will not see that fourth white dot, or it will be very sort of indistinct. But for casual play, these are fine. I think these would probably draw an eyebrow if you tried to pull them out at any given vintage event. The Blue Power is still elusive. I have a set of the Cardmire Unlimited, which you can see in a previous video, that is still my favorite. But let's go on here. Now, I've waxed poetic several times about how good the Cardmire Beta Power is. It is a little bit closer in terms of its coloration than its new cousins, I guess you could say. But you'll notice where these are a little bit browner, these are a little bit redder. They're a little bit more high contrast, and with the, of course, all the cards printed and sold by BL and his Chinese compatriots, black is printed on a separate layer. So the text setting is pretty good on the BL, as is the Cardmire, though in the Cardmire version you can see this scattered plot pattern behind the text a little bit better, but these are printed all the way to the border, and black, if you look close enough, is printed on its own, or it is not printed on its own layer in the Cardmire, but is on the BL cards. As it is usual, you see a slightly unusual rosette in these, but very few could tell by the naked eye. I think that these are pretty decent, again, except for the perfect centering of the interior black box. The color is ever so off. Again, I feel like even though the text darkness on the Cardmire cards is a little bit maybe too dark, it is still not, I mean, I'd love to be able to split the difference between each of these. So definitely worth taking a look at if you just need a set of power for your cube. I feel more comfortable still playing the Cardmire than I do the BL, but they're pretty nice. I don't mind giving them to somebody. So let's talk about Mishra's Workshop. I seem to be the only person really obsessed with the perfect Mishra's Workshop proxy. This one is not the 5.0. This one is the 4.0, and boy is it good. This compared to the 2.0, I think this might be vintage 3, but it's either vintage 2 or vintage 3. This one I got from VZ, and you can really tell the difference. It's hard to write up close, but let me see if I can quickly pull out another Antiquities card to use in comparison here. Aha! Okay, so here's my copies, good old strip mine. So you can see in this newer version the way that the word land is set, the coloration of the border, the coloration of the text box, okay, versus the older one where this one is just a little bit too yellow. It's just a little, I mean, just ever so slightly, and the text is just a little too white in the older version. In the newer version, it's much closer, much closer. Very small minutia, but this version is superior. The next piece that I look at is Bazaar. Now, I honestly like the look of the newer Bazaar a lot more. This is, I believe, the vintage or the new mixed 5 version. It's nice and bright. The text box is very bright and yellow. The problem is that the text is very white. It's very white. The old one, this is like the 2.0 Bazaar, has a much more correct color of text for Arabian Nights. While the text box is a little bit wonky in terms of its color, the art, the iconic art, is very good and much more akin to its original coloration than this one. Though I honestly like the look of this card a little bit more. So Bazaar and Bazaar, I still go with the older version. I can't wait till they get a sort of newer, more correct one. But until then, that's going to be what we do. Now finally, we have our holy grail over here. If you followed any of the posts I've written, Mox Opal has been on the top of a lot of people's lists. And so here is the old one. Now that's the last but one Mox Opal. I think maybe from Modern 3, somewhere in there. I'd have to look at the lists. I don't have them pulled up, and that's irresponsible, but there you go. So that is the old Mox Opal. It is gray, you can see. It's, you know, the art itself is pretty good, the card is pretty well put together, but these are all in sleeves, incidentally. Obviously, this is not what the card itself looks like, but if you can see, very gray. Now, the newer ones, which again I believe are mixed 4 or modern 4, look at the difference. Man, it doesn't look like much just to the naked eye, but the subtle addition of the green into the, I guess the petals or the leaves or whatever those things are, really makes the difference. Like this is much more playable, and let's see if I can hold them both up for you. I mean, you can just see incredible difference there. So I would say this Mox Opal, while it's not perfect, obviously is a lot closer. Also, I will say the texture on the version 5 cards is really starting to get there. It's pretty shiny still in some places, but a lot of people have been addressing that. The coating on the card is just a little bit better. You know, it passed pretty well for the bending up a time walk. And you know, the flip and the feel of the card is pretty solid. Now, one of the things I have not yet tried that could dramatically increase the playability of this particular card, like if you a lot of the problems with BL or the oversaturation that you get, and using the smoke sleeves, the smoke covered interior sleeves. I haven't really tried that yet, but I have picked up some of the KMC Hypermatte Premium, so not the Hyper Matte Pro, and these have the matte front and the matte back. And I don't think anybody's posted a video of this. So I'm going to hold the phone here and just slide this time walk into that sleeve just to show you. And all of a sudden, it's a little bit more washed out. I mean, it's still pretty dark, right? But imperfections and small things go away real quickly. I'll take the time walk out. This sleeve was actually containing this old vintage 2.0 Bazaar of Baghdad, which once it's in this sleeve, man, doesn't that thing look great? The matte does obscure it a little bit, so if you love looking at the fronts of your cards, it can be a little bit disappointing, but at the same time, man, that is very, like, from across the table with the glint, with everything else, that is going to look like a real live Bazaar of Baghdad. So it's exciting. Encouraging people, go ahead and see for yourselves. I'm interested to see if, you know, I really think that the vintage or the mixed 5 that's being sort of bandied around there, it's available at the AliExpress store for the board games guy Ron Liu, and I've spoken to him on Skype and he's very friendly, so if you can't get them from BL, you can get them from him. But BL, when I asked him about them, he said, yeah, actually I can get them, and I told him, well, you know, I'd rather order from you. So I think that right now that set is as close as we're going to get to vintage 4.0, because it has Bazaar, it has Workshop, it has Force of Will, it has all the P9, it has Library of Alexandria, and a number of the other like major vintage staples. Also of note, I haven't picked them up yet, but just putting it out there, I think that their border for Legends is the Italian Legends cards, because while things like the Abyss and Nether Void, which are the ones you see most frequently, and Mana Drain, don't look spot on for the English version, they are almost identical to the Italian version. So it really makes me wonder about the art set that they got for those. Anyway, just a bit of commentary. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this was helpful. I really encourage everybody to pull up a set of vintage playables and give it a try, because it's really such a fun format, and a lot of people have sold their power in the States to people over in Europe, so because in the States we use a lot of proxies anyway, so highly recommend that you jump in and learn some vintage, because it's really great. Anyway, thanks for watching.